Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Boy, is it good to be back. I was out of the office for about 10 days, had to do some travel, pick some stuff up, and then when I got back, I got a little under the weather, but I'm finally back and we are back to making videos. And today, I'm going to answer some more of your questions, such as what do I think of this special Submariner? What are my thoughts on the new Seiko 5 GMT? And would I rather work for a watch brand or an authorized dealer? All that and more in today's episode. Now, of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing my Piaget Polo 45. Absolutely adore this watch. Used to work for Piaget. Got a long history with it. Love wearing it. And also, guys, we got some crazy cool watches at delraywatch.com. We just got an H. Moser Streamliner green dial, the one that's sold out everywhere, and guess what? We are the cheapest in America by a long shot. We got a Lange 1 rose gold, one of the finest watches ever made, fantastic condition, and the very hot Omega Speedmaster Professional, the new coaxial model. All at delraywatch.com, link in the description below. Now guys, these are the questions you asked me on my Instagram account at Federico Talks Watches, so follow me there. Once or twice a month, you'll see a Q&A picture pop up. Feel free to ask your question there. When I get enough questions, I remove the picture. Please do not DM me as I do not check them. So in no particular order. Mag Howery 09. Congratulations on being in the Hot 100. Thanks, Mag Howery. I guess this is a good time for a little plug. I was voted in Watch Pro's 100 most influential people in the watch industry in North America. So thank you to Watch Pro. Watchpro.com if you want to read the article. But that's why he's saying congratulations. Thank you, by the way. How independent are watch brands which are owned by large groups? Does it reduce the passion of the maker or buyer in some ways? Well, my friend, I can't speak for all groups because I don't really know. I used to work for Richemont Group, though, and I can assume the other groups work in a similar way. I can tell you the very top end of Richemont, so like Lange, they are pretty much left to do their own thing. Lange can pretty much do whatever they want within reason inside of Richemont. And I think Vacheron, while a little bit less, also could pretty much do whatever they want. The other brands, while they keep their identity, they are much more focused on numbers. Not to say Lange and Vacheron weren't focused on numbers, but they could do more passion projects, whereas the other brands were much more focused on units. And of course, the groups look at the numbers of each brand every year, and they give direction. So while all brands are kind of independent, the only ones that are significantly more independent than the other ones are usually the spearhead brands. At least that is in my experience when I worked in Richemont in middle management, so nothing particularly important. Watchmark. Thoughts on Rolex Submariners? So dials are the cool, unique kind of gem set dials and Submariners. Everybody knows my thoughts on Submariners. I find it quite a boring watch, though it is an icon, of course. You don't need me to say that. I really like the dials because it takes an iconic design and it throws a little spice, a little kick into it. Kind of like the Hulk. Now, the Hulk is not a dial, but I loved it because, it took the Submariner and it made it green. So I think anything that's an icon can become boring, but if you throw a little spice into it, it becomes more unique, and at least on a personal level, I enjoy it a lot more. After Hours Cinema. Will Baume Mercier ever make a comeback? Oh boy. So actually, I really like Baume Mercier. I have for a long time. They make some very cool designs, nothing special watchmaking-wise, but I find them to be very handsome watches and a great value in the secondary market. However, their brand has really been hurting. Sales are massively down. They have been for years. Richemont, which owns Baume Mercier, even outsourced the North American management to the brand, to the point where, like, if that's not a way to understand the brand's not important, I don't know what is. Like, Richemont even kicked them out of their building. Like, yeah, you guys can manage them over there, and gave it to an agency. I mean, listen, I think they make beautiful watches. I think the new Riviera collection is gorgeous. Is it too late for a comeback? I don't know. I think comeback starts with the product, and I like the product, but there is no sign of a pulse, at least in the demand for Baume Mercier, and that is a shame. There is no wait list, says, what do you think of the new Moser undefeated Streamliner collaboration? It'll sell out immediately, but the response online seems to be divided, unlike previous Moser collabs. So everybody knows I love Moser. I adore Moser. I own Mosers personally, and I can't necessarily love everything a brand does. But as people say, there's an ass for every seat. If anybody from Moser is watching this, which I doubt, you guys are awesome. You're my favorite brand. But personally, I didn't love this collaboration. Then again, I'm not into streetwear, and there's a lot of people that are, but I'm not. I find it a movement which lacks class. I don't like its style. Different strokes for different folks. I'm just a much more classic guy. And I believe Moser used this as a way to make some money, and I don't blame them. They're a business, but take a brand that is so classy and so refined, and yes, you have to appeal to a broader public, which is why they made the Streamliner and the Pioneer. They're sports watches, so now they have sports watches along with dress watches. But then you throw in a streetwear collaboration. Listen, it just seems to be following the hype model that people are doing today. It's like, would Santoni ever make a Yeezy dress shoe? I hope not. Would Brioni ever put Supreme on one of their suits? I hope not. This is kind of what Moser did. Do I like it? No. Do I think it was a good business move? Absolutely, and that's fine. My love for the brand has not changed, but this release is definitely not for me, and I hope it's not a direction they move permanently in the future, because the hype and crypto bros are not permanent, and I think Moser knows that. It's just a good time to do this type of stuff. But this is not for their core clientele. This was more a way to grab a new audience. And as a business, I think it was very intelligent. Spartan ZL1. Keep up the hard work. Curious to know your thoughts on working for an authorized dealer versus the watch company itself. I know you've had experiences with both. So I've worked for a few authorized dealers, such as Vempe and Tourneau. I've worked on the corporate level for a brand. I worked at Piaget. I can tell you, I loved working at Piaget, but it was much more a corporate job. Numbers oriented, less dealing with people. You deal a lot less with watches working on the corporate level than you would think. Salesmen deal with watches at the authorized dealer. In the corporate level, you're dealing with allocations, marketing budgets, travel budgets, opening new accounts, closing underperforming accounts. Very little to do with watches, and more with the business of watches. I had more fun working at an authorized dealer because I got to spend 8 hours a day talking with people about watches. Now, yes, there's less personal growth at most authorized dealers, and there's a lot of awful authorized dealers that put a ton of commission pressure on you, which makes it a miserable place to work. Tourneau, at least back in the day. However, you work for a good authorized dealer like Vempe, and it could be a massive joy to go to work every day. Now, I loved working for Piaget as well, but I just didn't interact with watches as much as you may think. Padro43. Hey Fed, congrats on your interview with Watch Pro. Thank you. What are your predictions and thoughts on the new Seiko 5 GMT? Buy or pass? The new Seiko 5 GMT is a massive buy for me. I have not seen one in real life yet, but essentially it looks like an SKX with a GMT function, which for me is the perfect watch, because my SKX is my travel watch because it's very hardy. It's relatively inexpensive, so I don't have to worry about it in case I forget it, break it, it gets stolen. Of course, I'd care because I'm emotionally attached to it, but it's safe to travel with. I can swim with it. I can wear a dress shirt with it. It's just a fantastic all-around watch. The problem is it's a fantastic travel watch without a GMT hand. What did they do? The new Seiko 5 GMT looks like an SKX with a GMT hand. So they added that feature to the perfect watch for its purpose. Now, do I have any thoughts on the movement? Do I have any experience with the movement? The new GMT movement? No, not really. I don't really... it just was announced, right? So I haven't really played with it yet. But off of what I read and off the top of my head, I absolutely love it. I think it's a great idea. And I've personally been waiting for something like this for years. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. But we are back to our normal video schedule. Thanks so much for sticking around with me. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more content. And check out delraywatch.com. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.